Hello, welcome to the stream. Welcome to what is it? It's a Wednesday afternoon, 1 p.m. Berlin time stream. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to I think I'm not sure which episode is this one, but this is one of the episodes in the series in the official AWS Let's Code series. This is a series where a bunch of us developer advocates go ahead and do some code on live on screen, right? So, and today's episode is going to be focused around coding AWS Cloud Development Kit, or CDK to be precise. So, let me just get my things sorted here. Remove this, remove that. Perfect. First question to the audience, just to make sure that my sound is okay, because I cannot hear myself, at least not on stream. So just kind of confirm if this is okay. Anybody just can say yes on the chat, would be great, so I don't talk to just myself. And then we can kind of get started. First of all, I hope everybody is having a happy Wednesday, a good Wednesday. And thank you, Chris. And for our lovely Australian or APAC friends, there was already a stream on this topic as well, delivered by my colleague Derek. So if you are by some reason still awake and it's Australia time for you, you missed the good one. So this is the European part of this event, or EMEA part of this event. To introduce myself, my name is Darko Mesaros. I'm a developer advocate at AWS. I have been working with AWS working for AWS for the last almost 5 years now. I've started way off in premium support as a support engineer, moved on to being a solution architect, and now I'm a developer advocate. And my job is to help you, our developers, our engineers, to kind of be your voice within Amazon, right? Get your feedback about services and things we do, get back into the product teams, to the company, to all that stuff. And also at the same time, try to educate and maybe even entertain at points. So yeah, today's stream is all going to be about AWS CDK, or Cloud Development Kit. And let me actually just throw this on the screen here. Bam. No, not that's bad. No, wait, how do you do it? Is it like that? No, what? This? Yes, this. Ha. So today's stream is going to be about CDK, or AWS Cloud Development Kit. Now, before I get started, what is AWS Cloud Development Kit? So you may not know what it is. You may heard about it on AWS, on Twitter, on all over the place. It's very, very popular right now. So AWS Cloud Development Kit is a framework that lets you develop your AWS cloud infrastructure as code, right? So as you would take a SDK, or software development kit, it is you have the ability to basically define your infrastructure as code, right? But not in a very domain-specific languages like in CloudFormation or Terraform. You are using a generic programming language in this case. Sikura, I think I'm speaking English. If anybody can confirm that I'm not, do let me know. But I think this is my attempt in English. But yeah. Hey Pahud, hi Pahud. Pahud is our Pahud on chat here is our amazing CDK expert out here. He does a lot of things with CDK, a lot of pull requests. He makes the CDK actually so much better. So basically CDK enables you to develop infrastructure in a lot of different generic programming languages. So instead of relying on like JSON or YAML or some other domain-specific language, you can use generic programming languages like JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, Java, C#, F#, and I think soon we should have Golang as well. So that's very fun. So today, I'm going to actually be building something using CDK, and I've already done this before, I believe, at times, at least in a workshop or something like that. But it's basically, we're going to be building a simple serverless application using AWS CDK. Now, if you wish to follow along, I have a workshop, basically a GitHub here that I can paste on, and you can check it out for later. Which language am I going to be coding this thing? So I'm going to be doing it in TypeScript, right? But the same thing, all the things I do apply to Python and any other language. And to be honest, like I've actually been exploring this a bit, is using different languages in CDK basically gives you the same abilities. The only difference here is that there are more examples for TypeScript than they are for Python and some other languages. And at some point, I hope to fix that by introducing more Python examples during my stream. So if you have not followed me, so some people are watching through my own Twitch channel, some people are watching through the official AWS channel, but if you have not followed me, find me in on Twitch and YouTube, and let me actually post something here. So if you search Twitch or YouTube for this. So this will basically be my Twitch and YouTube channel, and you can find a lot of videos there as well where I do things like this. So I do a lot of live streaming and live coding. So if this is your cup of tea, do check it out. So today, let's actually have a look. For those of you who have just joined, welcome to a lovely stream, or a potentially lovely stream where we try to code some CDK or AWS Cloud Development Kit. I will be following a workshop I made a long time ago. So if you wish to check it out, it's on this link. You can find it on my GitHub page as well. So I'm going to be basically doing that. And if you wish to do it yourself after the fact, it's available. So go nuts. Okay, so where are we going to start? Well, like any other thing, we're going to basically create, I have an empty directory here, right? So I have an empty directory called Let's Code CDK. And the first thing we need to do, hey Blake, hi. First thing we need to do is we need to initialize our CDK application. But that's not all. Before that, we have to actually install a bunch of things. Now, I have this already installed on my side, but a couple of things you need to have installed. Number one, you have to have NPM installed, or a Node Package Manager. So NPM or similar, you're required to install a package from Node, right? So in this case, and what you need to do is you need to have NPM installed, and with NPM, we're going to be installing the AWS CDK. So to install AWS CDK, you just do sudo npm install -g AWS CDK, right? So again, depends on which system you have, but it should be more or less like this, right? I use sudo because I install it globally, but if I just enter this here and just do my password and just install it all, and it should be webam, good. I've already have it installed, so that's fine. Another thing, you need to have AWS CLI set up. So you need to have AWS CLI installed and configured, because it's going to be taking your properties, or actually your permissions off the CLI. So that's important. So two things, have CDK installed and have AWS CLI installed and configured. So this means you have to have credentials and everything else configured on your local workstation. Now I'm running this off my laptop. You can run this off AWS Cloud 9 if you want, like the online IDE, or anywhere else you can basically run a command and edit some text. I'm going to be using a Vim as my text editor, and I'm going to be just using the command line for everything else. So you came to a live coding session, and the most things that's going to happen in this live coding session is, well, just me coding. So I hope you enjoy that. And I hope this text is big enough. I'm going to increase it a bit. Okay, so we have CDK installed. So to initialize our application, we just do CDK init language. I'm not going to do Python. I'm going to do TypeScript. Script, like that. Script. This is basically telling CDK, hey, initialize the current directory with this language. What it will do, it will install a bunch of packages. It will set up the scaffold that's required for our CDK application. So it will do a bunch of things that we will be needing for this. Like basically some node modules, because for everything you do on CDK, you need to install a node module. So, all right. And if I look here right now, if you do like an LL, you see a bunch of files. Actually, let me open up Ranger. So you'll see a whole bunch of things here. There's the binary file or the bin directory where we actually initialize our application. The lib directory, this is where our constructs, our code, our actual proper code sits. The node modules are, well, you know, the node modules, everything that sits there. The test directory, there's also built-in testing into AWS CDK when you do things through TypeScript, and a whole bunch of different files like the CDK JSON where you do like feature flags, your jest configuration, and jest is the thing we do for testing, and of course the standard package JSON files and tsconfig files and a bunch of other things. Today we're going to be focusing It's node modules all the way down. Yeah. And what happens when you commit the node modules directory to GitHub and you just upload a bunch of gigabytes of data to GitHub? No. Make sure to ignore the node modules. And when it comes to hidden files, for hidden files, I have nothing. The npm ignore and git ignore in the git file. So nothing hidden here. Okay, the main two files we're going to be working on today is the bin file, or actually the file in the bin directory, the initialization, the application itself, and the libraries where we're going to be creating our CDK application, or actually the constructs we need for our code. So I'm going to be trying not to copy paste things a lot. I'm going to be trying to actually code things. So if you like watching a bald guy code, you're in luck. Let's get started. Okay, so we have our application. Just to kind of confirm it all works, I can run the npm run build. This will actually compile TypeScript into JavaScript. So this is kind of, it's not necessary to do this every time you do any CDK stuff, because the CDK command should actually do this for you. At least that's what I was told, but it seemed inconsistent to me at times. So I usually like to run npm run build before I run any CDK command. So it could be just a force of habit. So one more thing, for new accounts, make sure to run the CDK bootstrap command. So this command will actually bootstrap your account for CDK. Now, okay, I think I know what the problem here is. It's, got it. So the thing is, this will work for you. I have a different way of bootstrapping my stack. I did use the latest new version of doing it. It should not change anything for you. For me, I just need to add a single string here to my CDK JSON file. So give me just a moment. This is the artifact of me doing things yesterday. So let me go to TMP. I think I have something, CDK pipelines, demo, vim cdk.json. I just want to copy a string here. Ignore this, please. Vim cdk JSON. And I'm going to just plop this here. Perfect. So now if I do CDK bootstrap, again, it should be fine. It will attempt to do the latest one, because just kind of to explain what I did here, I've added this line here. It's a new style synthesis. It's just that it has new features when it comes to synthesizing your stacks. It's not required. I'm just doing it because I already bootstrapped my stack already yesterday. So let's get started. Vim, let's open up some text. So let's have a look at our bin file. The bin file here, as you can see, is basically where we initialize the application and create a stack. So on line 4, we import a stack where we import the construct from the libraries directory. Inside, we define an application. We define a CDK application, which is kind of a logical grouping of multiple stacks and multiple environments. And basically, within that application, we're launching a stack. We're creating a new stack from the Let's Code CDK stack construct within the app that we just created, and we are calling it Let's Code CDK stack. We don't need to do anything right now here. We're going to go ahead into the other file, the lib. Within the lib directory, there's a Let's Code CDK stack.ts file. So if we open this, you will see it's kind of blank, right? We have an import, we're exporting this class and creating a constructor, nothing else. So we need to do a bunch of things here, right? We need to build things. We need to add some code, right? Because, hey, this is the purpose of CDK. Just kind of taking a step back. What do I plan to do today? What do I plan to build? So let's call it the plan. I like to code my plan. So we need Lambda functions. We're going to make a simple serverless application that has a bunch of things we can do. It needs to have a database. It needs to have an API gateway. And the serverless application will basically, there's going to be a hello world example, because everything has to have a hello world example. There's going to be a way to write to a database and to read to a database. So in essence, we want to have 3 Lambda functions, 1 database, and API gateway, right? So 3 Lambda functions, 1 dynamodb, right? DynamoDB table, and we need 1 API gateway. That's it. Nothing else. So this is going to be our entire application. Super simple, of course. We're using serverless in here because it's just the fastest to deploy. If I was deploying a cluster of SAP, it will take hours to do it. So let's kind of focus on this, right? So what do we need right now? Hello, Marius. Hi, Marius, and welcome to the stream. By the way, also feel free to ask me questions in chat. I'm very happy to answer them. It is me coding, but I'm gonna also hope to kind of help explain some inconsistencies if there are some that you may wish to know. So, all right, API Gateway, DynamoDB table, perfect. So to install things here in CDK, or actually to start building, is we need to have modules, right? As you can see here on line 1, we are importing a module CDK, right? Or actually the AWS-CDK/core module as CDK. Now we need more modules. If we want to do Lambda, we need to have the Lambda modules. So how to get those Lambda modules? Well, npm install at AWS CDK, and it's not pipelines, it's AWS Lambda, right? Installing these things. I think I did it correctly. Yeah. So we need Lambda, we need API Gateway, and we need DynamoDB. So if I do Lambda API Gateway, right? I think that's the way you do it. I hope so. Let me actually just check my example here. I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. And I'm picking actually the correct things. Yes, I am. Perfect. And we need DynamoDB. Bokyo asks RDS proxy to DynamoDB. I would love that, but I have an hour to do this, and if I start, investigating how things should be done, we're never gonna finish. So, and I have to finish this in an hour. So, unfortunately, but if you want more exploratory things, you can always join my other channels and Twitch and whatever, where I do stuff like that. So, we have installed these 3 modules. To continue, let's actually import them, right? So import everything as Lambda from AWS CDK core-AWS-Lambda. Like that. Let's go here. API Gateway from AWS CDK core, AWS API Gateway. And then finally, DynamoDB, right? DynamoDB, like so, from AWS CDK core, AWS DynamoDB. Perfect. So we have imported these 3 modules right now, and we can start using them. So the best way to approach this right now would actually be to start, putting in some code. So let's create a Lambda function, right? Why not? So let's start off with our hello Lambda. This is the hello world example. And we can do it like that. Const, let's create a constant here and call it hello Lambda, right? Or actually, let's call it welcome Lambda to be consistent with my examples. And it's gonna be creating a new object, lambda.function, right? And now we need to define a bunch of properties here. So I'm gonna be using defining which scope it is, which scope is this launching in. So I'm gonna be defining this because it's launching within this construct. Give it a string, I'm gonna call it welcome Lambda. And then finally, let's define some additional things here. So open up this one, close it off like that. Well, bam. No. There we go. So we need to define a few things for Lambda function. First off, we need to define a runtime. So runtime is required to define because we want to say, hey, which languages our Lambda function is going to be in. So I'm going to do, it's simple. So if you come from a traditional infrastructure as code background, you cannot just write Node.js, 12 here. You can't do that, right? You have to actually reference an actual, how do you call it? Is it an interface? An interface or something like that. You have to actually reference those things. So if one of the things I can do is a lambda dot runtime, right? Dot Node.js 12.x. That's it. So this is how you define a runtime, because these are the supported runtimes as of now. What else? What does our Lambda function need? It needs some code. So to define code, again, you use the same you use a similar approach. You do lambda dot code dot from asset. I'm actually going to take the code from an asset, and I'm going to define it like lambda. Yeah, it's just an enum. Yeah. So So the asset here is actually going to be a directory called Lambda. And I'm going to actually create this directory right now. So if I go here, mkdir Lambda, and in this directory, I'm going to create a function called hello, right? So, and to actually tell it which function to do, you do handler, you define a handler, and you're going to do hello.handler. So in essence, what this is going to be doing is going to be looking for a hello.js file in this case, right? So, and yeah, that's it. I think we should be fine here. If I save this, yeah, this, but this is actually a string. So unlike other things, this thing here is a string. So like that. So this, in essence, would create our Lambda function, but let's actually edit the Lambda function. So let's create the code itself. So let's call it hello.js. And you know what? I'm gonna copy paste things here because I don't wanna have to debug things and manually do stuff for at least this part. Perfect. So we're creating a simple Lambda function here that just says hello world, right? Hello and welcome to our serverless application. Simple as that. So moving back to this one, if I would CDK deploy right now, this would deploy our Lambda function, right? So let's actually do that. So npm run build, just because I don't trust it to do it itself. And if I would be doing CDK deploy, hopefully, now I have not tried this today. This could be just trying to make it work. It takes a couple of seconds for it to deploy because it creates a CloudFormation change set. So as you can see, it will create 3 resources in this case. It will create an IAM role, so it handles a lot of those things for you. And this is kind of the difference where people ask me, so should I use CloudFormation, Terraform, or CDK, right? CDK is, in most cases, a much more, I wouldn't call it smarter, but it's much more opinionated in what it does. So it knows that your Lambda function needs a role. So it creates it for you, right? So it has done all those things for you. And if I go here to CloudFormation, you will actually see, if I refresh this, that there is a Let's Code CDK stack. It actually uses CloudFormation in the backend. So CDK, in essence, converts your JavaScript code or TypeScript code into CloudFormation, right? It converts it to do things like a proper template that does a bunch of things. So on top of that, if we go to like our resources, we will see that we have a Lambda function and an IAM role. So if I click to a Lambda function, it will take me to Lambda, right? And we can see that we have our code here, right? We are good to go. But having a Lambda function like this doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So we need to do more things. We need to add some more functionality. And what is the first functionality you do to a hello world Lambda function? An API gateway. So let's create an API gateway. An API gateway in this case will serve the traffic where you can actually reach out to the Lambda function and invoke it and get something back. So we are going to be making this. So let me find our example. Cool. So creating an API gateway is relatively simple. So let's do it like this. Like this, API gateway. And again, const, and let's call it API as new API GW, right? Then we're going to be doing just a REST API. So I'm going to keep it simple and just use the REST API in this case and define a couple of other things. Very similar. Let me just move down a bit here so we can have a bit more real estate on screen. So like that, we define, again, this like a scope. And then we say, how do we call it? Hello API. And then we define some properties. Those properties in this case will be, what do we need to do? What do we need to do? Actually, we don't need to do anything. When we define an API gateway like this, we can actually just do it like that. So if I do it like so, this will create us, in essence, an API gateway. Now, an API gateway by itself does nothing, right? So we need to add functionality to it. And to add functionality, we actually integrate our Lambda function or create an integration of our Lambda function with our API gateway. So if I do, again, a const like a hello integration, or actually API hello integ equals new API gateway lambda integration, right? Like that. And here I can just point it to a lambda function, and I'll just point it to a welcome lambda here, right? So I've created a lambda function integration, and now with this integration, I can actually create the API for this lambda function. So const API hello equals, what is it? API, adding something to this API, root, right? Like that. Add resource. So we're adding a resource called hello, right? And like so. And then API hello, we're going to be adding a method, which is basically going to be our get method. Method like that. And what do we need to define here? The method is basically get, and provide it with an integration. And integration in this case will be API hello integ. Right. So these 4 lines of code integrate a REST API with a lambda function. Now, if you were using like the HTTP API, this would be, I think, a single line or a couple of lines. It would be relatively simpler, and there's maybe better ways to code this, but we're not here to comment on my bad coding. We're here to talk about CDK and how you can maybe start your own. So, line 24, create an API. Line 25, create an API integration with a lambda function. Line 26, actually creating a resource within the API gateway. And then finally, line 27, adding a method to that resource. So if I would go ahead here and do things like npm run build, and then do things such as, actually, let me just put something up here so we can see it. If people join, because I see people joining, and welcome everybody. So we're basically, we have built the code, CDK deploy once more. And this will, again, make a CloudFormation change set if everything is correct. It will create a bunch of things for me. That's it. Oh, no changes. Okay, so I talked about bad coding, but I forgot something. I forgot to save, so it didn't work. So let's try again. npm run build. If you don't save your code, kids, you're not going to deploy your code. So make sure to save it before you do. And then finally, again, CDK deploy, and hopefully I should get a pop-up. Yes, there's a bunch of, there we go. There's a bunch of changes happening to IAM roles. So basically we're giving permissions for a bunch of things to communicate here. For example, if I go back here and scroll up a bit, you will see that there's a few things being created, like a assume role for API gateways, and permissions to invoke a lambda function from a specific API gateway. So CDK actually handles these things for you quite a bunch. So close this, say yes, and fingers crossed, maybe it will work, maybe it won't, come on. Okay, so the CloudFormation changes was created, that's good. That means that we can potentially, okay, we're waiting. So let's give it a minute. Okay, it's creating the gateway. So it's creating a gateway, and actually I think it should also output the gateway URL after this has been completed. So, which is great because we can immediately invoke the API straight from the command line. Also, to toot my own horn, follow me on Twitter. So we have this lovely link here. And if I copy this URL like so and do copy, and let's clear it off and let's do HTTP. HTTP is a curl for humans. So it's a curl command basically for humans. So if I do this, I get a forbidden. Why is that? Why is that? Why did I get a forbidden? I actually know why did I get a forbidden, but I forgot to add the actual resource. Hello. If I add a resource here and says hello and welcome to our serverless application. So there we go. It works. We have our simple hello world serverless example working, but we want more. We want to do more things. We want to expand on this. We want to add, what is the time? We want to add a dynamodb table. We want to add our functions to actually do things for us. So let's actually go on and create a table, right? So if I go back to this thing, I'm going to create a table on the top because I like to create data sources even though you should do data sources in a separate stack. In this simple example, I'm creating it all in a single one, but I'll keep it at the top, so it's created before anything else. So let's do this, dynamodb. Const table, right? Let's call it a table. New dynamodb dot table. Is there anything else, anything I need to define? Yeah, there is. Of course, the scope is this, and this, please, and the name is going to be people. I'm doing people because it's just a simple thing you can do, but it really doesn't matter what you do, how you call it. Then I need to define a few things. I need to do a partition key, right? Defining a partition key. And to define a partition key, you actually pass it on some JSON. And the partition key in this case will be name, and the name is going to be name because it's a people table. And then the type is going to be dynamodb dot, again, it's an enum attribute type, like that, dot string, because why not? Close this off, bam, and last but not least, it's actually give the table name a name, because I like to name my tables because it's easier to reference them later on. But the problem with naming tables is that if you create a table and it already exists with the same name in the same region, it will not create it. So I'm going to call it, what do you call it? Users table. Bam. Perfect. Oh, one thing. Speaking of this, I actually may have a dynamodb table by that name. So if I go to dynamodb, and I look at tables, there is no table users, so that's fine. Because users table, there is no users table. No, good. Excellent. So if I would do CDK deploy right now, it will create me a dynamodb table, right? Simple as that. Now I'm gonna wait on that because I want to do more functionality. I want to do more Lambda functions that will actually do something with this thing. So I'm gonna be adding more functionality to my CDK application. So to do that, actually, let's create two more Lambda functions. One of them is going to be reading users, basically reading information off the dynamodb table. The other one is going to be writing information to a dynamodb table. So how are we going to do this? I'm wondering how to structure this best. So let's actually go under here and let's do the following. So let's call it, how did we call it? User input Lambda. So let's create a Lambda function that will input the data. Now, here's a great thing. I can just do this. Nope, I can do this. Select, please. Yes, thank you. And then bam, paste. Why is this complaining? Oh, that's fine. I'm not gonna redeclare. I'm gonna be using it again. Wait. So I'm gonna call it. How did I call it? Create Lambda. Lambda. Oops. For some reason I called it like this. I don't know why. Why are you still complaining? Create Lambda is a clear. Why did it break my code? What? Ooh, I know why. Wait. Go back. I copied my code for some reason, and I pressed the button to make it all lowercase. So once more, create Lambda. No. Create handler, like so. And then here's the thing. I don't need to create a new API. The API already exists, so I can delete this one completely. But I'm going to do it API create integ, an API create. I'm going to integrate it with create lambda, like so. And the resource is going to be create. Is that the thing? Yes, that's how I did it. And finally, API create integ, like that. And then I'm going to be doing API create. So what I've done here, I basically copied the code, created an additional lambda function. Basically, well, I need to change a few things, but created an additional lambda function and created an additional API integration to my REST API and a new resource and the method for that resource. So I don't only have the hello resource on the API gateway, so /hello. I also have the /create now, so which I can use. So I'm going to call this create lambda like that. But I need a few things because I need to change. First of all, I need to call it. I'm not going to call it hello handler. I'm going to be calling it create handler, right? Or actually create user. Create user.handler, and it's going to be complaining because that thing doesn't exist. So I need to create a new file called actually no, I need to lambda create user. I think that's the name of the file. Let me actually see, because I'm going to copy paste because we're not here to discuss lambda functions. We're here to discuss CDK. So copy this. Yes, it's create user. So create user.js. Wabam. Perfect. So create a new lambda function, create user. This lambda function, if you want to have a look, it basically creates entries into a DynamoDB table. Simple as that. Nothing special. It just creates a thing in a DynamoDB table. So I've created this. I have done this. I have to do one more thing. I need to do basically, I need to add to my lambda function something. How can I pass the name of the table that I've created before? So I create a DynamoDB table here, right? How can I pass this name to my lambda function? What would be the best approach for this? It actually would be to do something like lambda environment variables. So to do that, you can actually add a new parameter to my lambda function. It's going to be called environment, right? Environment. And to pass an environment, again, it's a JSON thing, right? So I just do a JSON. It's a key value pair. I'm going to call it table name, like that. And I'm going to pass it. How does it work? Yes. And pass it just the users table. That's it. So I'm hard coding these things, but you can also define specific outputs from specific things to be used here. So like that. I am missing a comma here, and that's it. So this is a create lambda function. To do a read lambda function, it's basically the same thing. Again, I'm going to do copy, like so. Come down here, bam, paste. It's going to complain, but it's fine. Read lambda, and call it a read lambda here, and it's going to be the read handler. Lambda, this is all fine. The only thing I'm going to change here is the read user.handler. So we're going to be creating a new lambda function again called the read user.handler. So if I do e lambda read user.js and do some code here, let's copy paste code. Select. Copy, bam. Let me remove this so we can see better. Perfect. And then basically this code will just read an entry from a DynamoDB table by using the scan approach. Hello, hi. Hey, and welcome to the stream. So for any new people joining the stream, welcome to AWS Let's Code series, where we do some live coding on AWS. Today's session is about coding CDK. We're doing live coding on CDK. What we're doing is actually creating a simple serverless application with the AWS Cloud Development Kit. So far, we created one Lambda function and an API gateway. What we're just adding right now is a DynamoDB table and two more Lambda functions, which are going to be writing and reading from that DynamoDB table. So read Lambda is fine. I just need to modify my my API gateway. If I do read integ, I'm gonna make the read lambda here. I'm gonna be using that. And then the API create is gonna be API read rad. And the thing is gonna be here, read, like so. And API read, like that. API read and tag. Perfect. So we added an additional integration to our Lambda functions to our API gateway. So basically additional 2 Lambda functions. What the new thing we added here was adding the environment variable. So we're passing the table name to a Lambda function, and then that Lambda function is actually going to be reading this table name from environment variable like this on line 3. So going back to, where is it? This one. There's one thing we're missing. And we're gonna have a problem here, right? So if we start doing here, what do you think we are missing? So we have a dynamodb table. We have a hello world lambda, which is fine. We have a API gateway. We have a create and a read lambda function with both integrations to the API gateways. What are we missing? I'll give you a moment to think about it. Post your answers in the chat. I'll have a drink of water. We're actually missing permissions. Yes. Kafkar, if that's how you read. Yes, you're correct. 5 points for you, or whatever arbitrary number. Yes, we are missing permissions. So this is one of the things that kind of sold me on CDK initially is permissions. Or if this is the only reason you would do CDK, it would be good enough. To define permissions as code, or actually defining specific permissions to the resources here, is so elegant on CDK that it's just amazing. Because if you recall, if you ever did this in CloudFormation, like pure CloudFormation, you would have to do this very manually, right? So I would go and create a role and then attach that role to my Lambda function. And that role has to be created in such a way that it has permissions to write to this specific dynamodb table, right? And if I ever see a person type an IAM role, an IAM policy by hand, without reading documentation, in one go, I'm scared, right? So that's very complicated. So to kind of go around that, CDK made it really easy. To do that, I just go table.grant. I want to grant read because my Lambda function that reads, that's all it needs, right? So if I do basically read Lambda, well, bam, that's it. I've given my Lambda function the read permissions to my table. If I want to give my write permissions to my other Lambda, the create Lambda, well, table dot grant write data, or actually I'll do read write, and then I'll do create Lambda. Well, bam, we're done. We basically just, in 2 lines of code, we create a whole bunch of CloudFormation, and this is just perfect. So let's actually try it out. So let's see if this will work. npm run build. Okay, CDK deploy. A bunch of changes. As you can see, it does a bunch of policy changes because a bunch of things are being created, hopefully. And yeah, this will take a bit longer, but not too long, right? So again, these things that are being created are usually, we don't have to wait for these things. These are not things like creating EC2 instances or RES databases or anything that needs to be provisioned. It's relatively much faster. And it's even creating like 23 objects in this case. Kafka, you're asking me what are you using for auto completion in Vim and NeoVim? I'm actually using COC, or Conquest of Completion. So COC is a plugin that basically configures this. If you're interested, this is again tooting my own horn, but there is I have a repository and Vim, where I have all my NeoVim configuration. So if you're interested in how I configure my NeoVim, I think on top of this, the only thing that you need to do here is you need to install the specific NeoVim plugin, COC plugins, because COC has plugins that enable you to install support for specific languages, for example, like TypeScript or Python or those things. So and here's the thing, like Vim is amazing. I love Vim. I swear by Vim and those things. And it takes some effort to configure, right? It's not like opening VS Code and just works straight from the bat. It takes some effort, and I'm fine with that. And even though it kind of sometimes struggles, I'm just a big fan that I can use Vim anywhere I want. And it just works. Let's call it that way. Perfect. We've actually created this. And if we go back to CloudFormation, we will see there's a bunch of additional resources here, including Lambda functions, some roles, a bunch of other things. So our hello thing should still work, right? So if I do hello, this works. Perfect. If I do create, right, like that, and then I would need to pass it on something, right? So let me actually see what the command I use, because I use curl for this. I have not tested out how to do it with HTTP, but if I do curl, can I have, oh, no. Wait. CDK deploy. Let me get the HTTP URL once again. I'm going to be using CDK, the command here anyway, because I don't want to try to do this. Let me actually just copy paste this thing. Where is my command? Come on, somewhere here. As you can see, this Git repo has a bunch of, it's basically a giant README file on how to do this, and there's also example code which you can kind of pick it up. So we'll digest this command just in a second. If I copy this and I go here, and I will do like that, but I need to change my URL. What is my URL? Oh, boo, I just deleted it. 1 second. Running CDK deploy gets you the outputs again. So if there's no changes, nothing will be deployed, but it will give you the outputs. So if you'll see here, it's going to create a CloudFormation change set, no changes, but it will give me this lovely output here. So if I just copy this entire UUID, because everything else is the same thing. So if I do copy this, copy, and do my, actually, boy. It's sometimes easier to just have it all prepared, but I don't. Copy. And then let's go back. Let's delete this like that. Let's delete this thing here and paste. Oh, bam. So if I run this command now, this is a curl command that runs the post. And it will create a user in this database. Basically, it sends the post request to my Lambda function, and it will create a user that, well, in this case, we're saying passing it the name of Darko, the location in Berlin, and the age is 32. So if I run this, missing authentication token. I know. Okay. Create Lambda function. What is the problem here? It's not get, it's post. I made an error in creating this thing. Okay, so npm run build. Let me rerun it. So npm run build, and let me redeploy it. It's going to basically make changes to our API gateway. CDK deploy. This should be really quick because it's just going to change it. Because I created a get method, and I'm not doing get. I'm actually doing post. So I need to enable post as well. So a bunch of changes. Again, it needs some additional things for this to work. And yeah, let's see if this works. It's going to be, I think, a single or a couple of resources being changed or created. So yeah, just 10 resources. Updates a bunch of things. Also see a bunch of people here from my YouTube channel. Wow. because I'm streaming this simultaneously to AWS Twitch, my own Twitch channel, and the YouTube channel. So welcome everybody from all the sides. So okay, so this should be fine now, hopefully, famous last words. Let's actually try to run this command once again. Okay, it seems to work. So this seems to work because we have no error. So because I've not modified my Lambda function to actually confirm that this is fine, we're just passing on things. So if I go here again and clear and do some changes to my command, and I am actually going to be doing it like this. I'm going to be removing this, and I'm going to be just reading, right? So it's actually, we did read, right? Like that. Did we call it read? I think, I hope so. And I'm actually going to be doing get. So I'm actually putting another request to my API gateway, this time a get command, and I'm going to the read and giving it the name Darko. So it should actually return me some information from there. Well, no, internal server error. Okay. I made a mistake with my Lambda function. So what did we do? Read API gateway, read API integration. User stable, Lambda, read user, handler. Did I do it correctly? Read user.js. This all seems good. So internals, so it works. Hey Neil, hi, welcome, and live Samim. CDK seems cool. CDK is amazing. CDK is just love. I'm a big fan of CDK, and it's kind of become my thing now that I constantly do something with CDK. So very, very fun. Now let's try to troubleshoot this. Why did this break? So I'm passing on the get command to prod read name equals Darko. So a couple things, and the failure here is actually a Lambda failure. So the Lambda function that we're calling is failing. So let's go to Lambda. Let's open up Lambda in a new tab and see why is this thing failing. Maybe we can figure it out why the read handler is failing. Now, this could be just because of a bad paste. Aha, read user.js. Ooh, see, it doesn't find the Lambda function. The Lambda function doesn't even exist. Okay, so I think I know what I have potentially done here. Read user. I didn't save the file. Darko. Remember, kids, always save your files before trying to attempt to deploy anything. CDK deploy. Okay. See? Yeah. Live and learn. And one day, I will remember how to save files. And I love saving files in Vim. My signature on Twitter has WQ in it. So I don't know, I don't remember to save it. Or I can just blame it on my keyboard. I probably typed WQ, but it didn't accept my keyboard. Yeah, it's my keyboard. It's not me. Good. All right. Fingers crossed now. Let's try it out. So curl get. It works. Okay, so you can see we got a JSON object back saying name, location, and age. Perfect. That's still accurate. It's still accurate. Cool. So simply we created, right now we created 3 Lambda functions. One is just a lovely hello world, right? Saying hello. And the other two ones are to create things and to read things from a DynamoDB table. We all tied this into a lovely AWS API gateway that actually serves as the front door to your Lambda functions. So we're not invoking a Lambda function somehow magically. We're invoking it through an API gateway like this. And what's the best thing out here? We didn't have to use a console. If you recall, I don't have to touch this at all. I don't need this. The only way I deploy my infrastructure is through this, right? You just need a keyboard, nothing else. That's the whole thing. That's the beauty of infrastructure as code. Let's say an apocalypse happens and all computer mice are gone. And the only way you can do infrastructure is with your keyboard. Well, you can do it through this. And I think it's super elegant. I gotten so used to this right now that I have trouble deploying things through the console. Like I forget how to do things. Like, oh, how do you create that? How do you do this in like an API gateway? I would struggle more to create an API gateway through the console than through this. It's just I got used to it. So 3 Lambda functions, 1 DynamoDB table, 1 API gateway. This thing actually serves our application. Now, I've not done everything here, right? I have some things missing. So I have not fully expanded my stack, like by creating production and demo stacks, for example, because we have 4 minutes left. And I would not be able to do that before this thing ends. But if you are interested in this, I'm once again gonna paste this here like that. If you're interested in this, please do check out please do check out this GitHub repository, which there is an entire README file and the example code on how to do the exact same things I've done here, plus the additional ability to do multiple stacks like in production environment. So it's all there. Now, this thing is still being expanded. I'm still adding new features. As I learn new features, I add more things to this one. So stay tuned. Also, there are going to be some Python examples in there because I've been asked by a lot of people, can you do more Python? And I will apply for sure. So make sure to check it out. Check the GitHub repo out. So LifeSamim says, I've been doing Terraform for ISC, but not much more serverless. So Terraform is amazing. Terraform is great. Terraform has a lovely syntax. Again, it's a specific domain-specific syntax. The problem with Terraform for me is I don't know a bunch of it. I actually have 4 episodes of a stream on my YouTube channel where I try to learn Terraform. And while it's great, it's really nice to type and all that stuff. I got spoiled by this. So, and if you've ever used Terraform or CloudFormation to create a VPC, right? So in CloudFormation, you need like 87 lines of code to create a proper VPC with 2 subnets and all the things. In Terraform, you need less, but you need still a bunch of code for VPCs. Here, you need 1 line. You need a single line to create a VPC with 4 subnets, with all the bells and whistles you would need in a standard VPC. So it's kind of a quality of life tool. It saves me a lot of time from having to type or copy paste unnecessary code. So it does a lot of things, as we like to call it, with sensible defaults. So I would highly advise, like you may have not noticed, I am not a TypeScript developer. I am by no means a developer. I've never worked as a developer. I've been a sysadmin / operations person myself all the time, and I've done a lot of scripting in Python and Bash and PowerShell, but never programming. But even with that, I can easily pick this up and prove it justice, right? Give it some justice to actually provision my infrastructure. And even now, I need to deliver a webinar, and I need to do some demos for the webinar. I created them all in Terraform, not Terraform, in CDK. I did them all in CDK because it's just so simple to do. It's easy to replicate, it's easy to destroy, it's easy to do all the things. And when I say destroy, yeah, this is actually a big part of CDK. Once you're done, CDK destroy. And bye-bye CDK. All is gone. Nothing should be remaining except for the DynamoDB table, because DynamoDB tables are not deleted because you don't delete persistent storage in an easy way. So rule of thumb, don't delete persistent storage in an automatic way. Otherwise, you may have problems. So, okay, so it's deleting all the things. It's going to delete my entire stack. Perfect, amazing. It's going to be gone. I don't have to worry about it. The only thing I have to clean up is my database. So let me switch back to my big face. Thank you very much for attending or for being part of this Let's Code session. I think the next one is coming up, I believe next week is the next one, if I recall correctly. Let me have a look. Yes, next week we have another session. It's on the topic of EC2. It's different techniques, how to connect to your EC2 instances. So SSH, Bash and host. So next week, I believe at the same time, at the same place, do join my other colleagues, John and Sebastian, who are going to deliver a session here as well. Amazing presenters, so make sure to check it out. And yeah, for any questions, please do let me know. Please do Make sure to follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube's, Twitches, Twitters, all the social medias, carrier pigeons, whatever. I'm very happy to help and answer any questions. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this session and have a lovely rest of the week. Hopefully not too long. I will be ending the stream right now. Bye-bye.